Hi, it's Tina again today, and I would like to show you how to use distress paints in your art journals. Um, so the first thing is I'll pull out my art journal, the one that I'm using for my Frog Dog Studio kit projects. So I'm going to go ahead and use this page, and actually there was a piece of ephemera that was stuck in there, so I'm going to go ahead and use that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and use some of the matte medium that was included in the kit, and I'm going to go ahead and start attaching some of this ephemera to the page. I'm also going to take some of the ephemera that was included in the July kit, which is awesome for this, and use it on my art journal pages as well. You can see me just trying to decide which one of the little pieces of ephemera I would like to use. I also decided before I went to put the ephemera from the July kit in here, I had ripped out some pages from one of the vintage dictionaries that I have, and I thought that would be a good way to keep building some layers onto my art journal page. So in addition to the ephemera from the July kit, I'm going to go ahead and use some of those just ripped pages from the dictionary on my art journal page. This art journal is actually pretty cool because it's a old, I think an old like financial journal, and I had bought several of them off of Etsy, and they're nice because they already have such a cool background to it that you can just keep layering. I just keep building layers with different ephemera and different pieces of paper. I'm going to add another piece of ephemera over on the other side. This ephemera sheet from the July kit actually came from Art Chicks. They have some really nice ephemera sheets in their store. They're based in Canada, and you'll probably see some of these ephemera sheets in some future kits. I really like the assortment and the collections that they have, and it's a nice quality paper as well. So I'm going to go ahead and dry this on my art journal page. So I'll just dry it using my heat gun. Oh, actually before I'm going to dry it, I'm going to go ahead and add some more layers and texture with the Prima tape that was included in the July kit. This is an awesome tape from Mixed Media. It has more stickiness than some washi tapes have, which is perfect for Mixed Media. So I'm going to go ahead and just place it right on the page, even though the matte medium is not dry. I'm just going to add again more pattern, more layers, more texture to my background, and washi tape is awesome to do that with because you can use little strips of color here and there. Now I'm going to go ahead and dry the pages with my heat tool. Alright, so I want to add some more texture to my background. So I just pulled out a stamp from my personal stash and a stencil, and I'm going to add some more texture to my background with stamps and stencils. So the first thing I'm going to do is take one of my stencils, and daubers are great for stencils as well, so you don't have to have more cleanup, but I'm just going to go ahead and add some of the images from the stencil onto my art journal page. And what you just saw me do there, I do that a lot with stencils, is I'll stencil on one side of it, but then where the paint is on the reverse, I'll flip the stencil upside down. So on the other side, on the right side of my art journal page, which is really the left side of the art journal page, you'll see the reverse of where I had daubed on the paint on the stencil. So I'm just going to keep adding some more layers. Another great way to get that distress paint if you don't want a heavier coating is just take a cosmetic sponge and daub some paint onto your craft sheet and add your paint through your stencil with the cosmetic sponge, which is what I am doing right here. So there's very little waste and very little cleanup with that. I think I could have seriously been creating art journal page after art journal page with these distress paints. They're so awesome for various uses. And just like all of the other distress products, they react with water, which is a really fun look as well. Now I'm going to take another stencil and use some of the ivory or the cream color that was included in the kit and add some more texture on with that. And you can see some of the ivory and the green mixed, which is great. I don't mind that. I'm not real picky when I'm adding that on here, and I'm actually going to try to mix some of them anyway. I'm just going to keep adding more layers. And also, if there's more distress paints that you would like, I have a limited assortment in the store, but when your kits ship, this additional product that's in the Frog Dog Studio store will ship free with your kit. So it's a great way to expand your kit options. So now I'm just using that stamp that I had pulled out, and I'm going to add more layers, and this is just regular archival ink that I'm using for my page right now. So once all of that's dry, I'm just taking some gesso and I'm going to keep building some layers. So as you see, and you'll see in a lot of my videos, I use my fingers to paint with quite a lot. I like that look instead of paintbrushes, so I'm just adding it randomly to my art journal page just to kind of build on the previous layers. And you might ask, why am I covering up some of it? But then you keep building on top of it, and it just adds a lot of texture to your pages. I'm going to go ahead and dry that gesso on my page. So now I'm going to use the distress paints by wetting them. So I'm taking my spray bottle and spraying the paint. I'm going to let it drip down my art journal page. I love the drip look on my art journal pages, and you'll see me use that technique over and over again, but it's really easy with the distress paint daubers. You can just daub it onto your page, spray it, and let it drip down. And for this page, I wanted the drips to kind of go in the horizontal direction in addition to the vertical, so you can see me using the book and turning it horizontally instead of vertically to create those horizontal lines on my page. So I'm going to do the same on the other side. And if you want more drips, you just spray more water. And then I keep building layers on layers. So I can keep adding more spots of distress paint and keep adding more water and keep creating more of those drip marks. I'm going to go ahead and dry that with my heat tool. So now I just wanted to add some different color instead of the green and the white. So I actually just pulled out one of my Lindy sprays, which was in my stash. It's not included in the kit. And again, to keep building on layers after layers, I'm going to spray it on here, but I'm actually going to take my brush and spread it out. The Lindy's sprays have a really nice shimmer to them, so I just wanted to add a little bit of a different look and background to it. So I'm adding it over and top of the distress stains. And one thing that's nice about those distress stains, even though there is water in this spray, because of the property of distress stain, once they are dry with your heat tool, they will not reactivate with water. So you can see why they aren't moving around as I spray the spray on top of them. And that is an awesome quality, especially for your mixed media projects when you want to layer color on top of color. So I'm just adding some of this other color. It's like a red color a dark burgundy color onto my page. So once that's dry, the first coat, I keep adding layers on layers. I like adding multiple layers of color. So now I'm just adding the sentiment to my page, and these are just some white stickers that I had in my stash. They're not included in the kit, and I'm putting my sentiment down that side, the right side of my journal page. I'm just making sure all of those letters are down. And now I'm deciding what other pieces of ephemera to add to the page. So I cut out another one of the squares from the ephemera sheet from the July kit, and some of the red alphas that were included in that ephemera sheet. So I'm going to go ahead and use the matte medium to attach those to my art journal page. I like the little pops of red that those letters from the ephemera sheet added. I'm just adding a really thin coat of the matte medium on top of all of my alpha stickers just to make sure that they are really stuck down onto my page so they don't come off later on. So now I'm just taking some of white Adirondack spray, the Ranger spray, and I'm going to add some more drips to the page, and just this goes on top of what I've already created. And I wanted some more white on the page to kind of make the sentiment pop out a little bit more, so that's why I'm adding some of the white spray. And again, the white spray was in my stash. It was not included in the kit, but you may, hint hint, see that in a future kit here in the next couple of months. It's one of my favorite sprays. So that's just adding some more of that Lindy spray, some of the red, just to tone down the white again, layer on layer on layer. I love to do that in art journal. You can just play with your different product and create really fun backgrounds. So now I wanted some more red on the page. Again, just red's one of my favorite colors to use as an accent, kind of as a pop on the page. So I'm taking some Viva Decor modeling paste, which, hint hint, you may see on a future kit as well, and using one of the stencils in my stash and just adding some little pops of red color to my layout. And that's what I'm doing here. It doesn't take much for red, but it really adds a lot to the page. So that's what I wanted to do for the red. Now once that's dry, you have to obviously let that dry quite a bit, but the modeling paste is nice because it adds more depth to the layout instead of a flat from the paint. So now I'm taking some white distress paint that I had actually in my stash, and I'm going to go ahead and use one of my circle stencils and just add some more pops of white on top of where the red and the green were on the page. And I really, circles are one of my favorite design elements. I could use this, well, you can tell from this stencil, but I use this stencil quite a bit. I love circles on my pages. So again, the dauber makes it super easy to add that to your art journal pages. And then to finish my art journal page off, I'm just taking my doodly pen and I'm circling around each one of the circles, and that just really defines it. But again, it adds another layer of texture to the page, and I'm not being really specific about it. It's a pretty loose doodle around the circles, but it really defines the circles on the page. And then I'm also going to outline some of the red ephemera that I had attached to the page as well. And I wanted to add some black to the layout, so I just took one of my old My Mind's Eye stamps that I have, and they have this set of 3 butterflies, which I thought would be kind of fun for this page. So I'm going to go ahead and use the butterfly with some more archival ink and stamp some butterflies in several places on my art journal page. You can see me just trying to decide where exactly I want the butterflies on my page. Sometimes I get pretty indecisive. I love to do 3, so they always say the rule of thirds. I use odd numbers a lot of times on my projects. I just think it evens things out when you use odd numbers, so you can see I actually stamped it 5 times even though a couple of them were off the page, but at least there is an odd amount. So I'm just outlining some of the red ephemera, and then the page will be done. So I have another art journal page done with my July kit, and I hope you enjoyed my tutorial, and thank you for watching.